Hey everybody, welcome to Look Behind You. I am Jacob, your host, and I'm joined by Jordan.
Jordan? Yes, that's me.
And I'm joined by Terry.
Hello.
Thought you were going to say Terry as well.
No.
No.
Shut up.
Well, yeah, welcome to the show. Hopefully you guys have a good time. This is a little bit different than what we normally do, and it's going to stay more this type of show, so hopefully you guys enjoy the more relaxed format.
Variety is the spice of life.
Sure. So yeah, let's get started by the topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is going to be UFOs.
More UFOs.
More importantly, the specific of the topic is the first sighting that was actually called a UFO sighting.
Yep, the sighting that birthed the name the Flying Saucer.
So, Jordan, you did the most research for this, so I'll let you go over your brief interview.
No, whoa, we're
overview.
resurrecting a man from the grave to interview him?
guess
Sweet.
Going over the brief overview, and then we'll be talking about the subject. So,
Yep.
What was the first UFO sighting?
The first UFO sighting is a lot longer before this, but this was what popularized the name Flying Saucer and UFO.
Right.
The story starts with a person named Kenneth Arnold. He was a kind of, I want to say an amateur aerialist, but I think he was actually not a professional, but was very experienced.
If I remember right, he was a salesperson and he owned his own plane to travel back and forth.
Yes.
And he quite frequently flown. Like, he was very professional at it.
Yeah. He wasn't a professional flyer, but he was very experienced at
Yes.
Which, you know how cool that would be? Like, yeah, I'm going to go sell stuff over in the next city. See you guys, I'm going to go fly. Yeah.
I knew a guy that built an airplane just to fly to Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Yeah, I can tell you about it later.
Okay. I'm trying to find the exact story because I didn't pull it up right away. I'm just gonna
Failure.
I'm just gonna pull from the Wikipedia one. Just so
Do you
that,
want this one, the Project 1947?
That one is more a transcript.
Oh.
So we'll
that
save that.
actually might work. Let me pull that up on my phone.
Or was there another site that you were referring to?
No, I was just
Really
trying to
can-
find something good to read off of. So this will take a little bit of backstory that I'll tell you about this now. He was flying over, I forget the exact name of the mountain, Mount Rainier. He was flying over Mount Rainier in Washington, kind of, I believe he was heading towards Washington from Idaho for some reason that I'm not remembering.
If I remember right, he had a sales thing that he was going to be doing there.
Yeah. But while he was flying, he saw this, and I'll start reading from the transcript. It was while I was searching for a crash. So while he was flying, there was a recent plane that went down in the mountains. So he decided to just kind of look for it while he was up there, just see if he could find it, because there was a $5,000 reward on it.
Yes, I
Which,
believe
in this day and age, I think said is like $47,000 or
something like that. Well, I believe it was a military plane that had disappeared.
It was a U.S. Marine plane.
And I forgot to
Okay.
say this, but this was back in like 1940s.
47.
47. So he was flying, searching for this crash, when he noticed a terrific blue flash past the nose of his airplane. He noticed that the flash came from a train of very peculiar looking objects that were rapidly approaching Mount Rainier at about 107 degrees from his position, I believe. This train of objects were 9 in number. He assumed at the time they were a new formation or a new type of jet, though he was baffled by the fact that they did not have any tails. They passed almost directly in front of him, but at a distance of about 23 miles, which is not very great in the air. He judged their wingspan to be at least 100 feet across.
There's a typo here. It says their sighting did not particularly disturb me at that time, except that I had never seen planes of that type.
That's what threw me off. Okay.
They have words in weird brackets.
Yep, and I also try to read that in a little bit different because that's a first case explanation directly from Arnold.
I'd read it in his words then.
You want me to restart that?
No. You did good enough on the first one, but...
Okay.
Yeah, from here on, just read the transcript.
Okay. Then I'll go down to the next one. I could never understand at the time why they would get... Okay, so this transcript is a little bit weird. I'll just kind of paraphrase from what I can remember because it jumps around a whole lot. So yeah, he was flying through the air over this mountain and he saw 9 flying disc shapes that were traveling at ungodly speeds. I believe one of the counts was like 22,000 kilometers an hour. Which
I think that he originally had estimated because he did all the math for it, and originally it was about 1,600 miles an hour, and it turned out to be like 20.
Well, when he
500
did the
miles or
math,
something.
it came out to like 2,000 kilometers an hour, but he downplayed it.
Right, and then he revisited it later on and realized, oh, this was way faster than I thought it would be.
One of the things that brings the story a lot more credence is like when he was even seeing this, what a lot of people would say phenomenon, is he thought maybe it was just some water in his window. So he even opened up his window and looked and it was still there.
Huh.
Which
That's
I
weird.
honestly did not know airplanes could do because I thought that would depressurize them.
No, they actually have holes in the window.
Yeah.
Huh.
This was also a single passenger
Oh, yeah, good point.
airplane. So it's
Well-
not going super high and super fast.
Yeah.
Even planes, big planes, they have holes in them to keep cabin pressure steady. Because
That seems dangerous.
the only
but
problem
okay.
with a plane is when it descends too fast or it ascends too fast.
Yeah.
That's why in movies, when you see a plane crashing, all the airbags drop because the cabin pressure can't keep up with the extreme drop. So all the air gets sucked out. So that's why you have to have the air mask when you're crashing. I think it's kind of the same thing when you're going up really fast. But yeah, all planes have holes in them to keep the pressure steady.
Huh. I did not know that.
I mean, of course, if you go high enough in the atmosphere, the oxygen is low.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that, like, those small planes had basically car windows to them.
Honestly, I
mean, I
small
know
planes, they crack them open. I don't think you can just like roll it down and stick your head out the window.
Yeah.
But-
They're probably just like those ones that come out at an angle.
But big planes, I learned it off at Reddit because one guy posted, it's like, my window has a hole in it. Am I going to die? And everybody's like, no, that's normal.
All right, so he basically troubleshooted everything to make sure he wasn't just seeing things, right?
Yep. And he said that they were as big as a 4-engine plane and flat like a pie pan and somewhat bat-shaped and flashed bright enough to temporarily blind him. They were saucer-like, he said, and moved like a fish flapping in the sun. I really wanted to picture that in my head, but I can't. A flying fish flapping in the sun.
I'm thinking the Batmobile just kind of wiggling.
Yeah, when it said that, I was just thinking...
And they kind of just threaded their way through the different peaks and valleys in the mountain.
Okay, like
That's
they're
weird.
moving with no issues or anything like that.
All right, so he sees this in the mountains searching for a different plane, but obviously he tells somebody, and somebody coins the term of a UFO. Who's that?
So he tells a local newspaper about this encounter, right?
Yeah.
And then later, the bigger newspapers pick up on this story. And in one of the accounts, he said that they were kind of like disc shaped
Okay.
or saucer shaped.
Yeah.
Because there was like 2 different sizes, or not sizes, but
Accounts?
appearances. And he said one of them kind of looked like a saucer, and the other one was kind of more like a bat wing.
Okay.
So the newspaper picked it up and like man saw flying saucer. And so that's where like the flying saucer got its name in the UFO
Okay.
community.
So it's just journalists kind of over...
Attaching onto one part of the story.
Because I know before this, there wasn't really a certain term for alien sightings.
No,
They either said they saw a alien.
At first, this actually wasn't believed to be an alien sighting.
Really?
Yeah.
given the time, didn't they think at first that it was a German aircraft, possibly, or
No.
just experimental
well,
aircraft?
He thought at first that was an American experimental aircraft, but then the Air Force, well, before the Air Force was Air Force, sent a person out to interview him, and the dude's like, we had no experimental aircraft out at the time, and that is kind of collaborated even to this day, and in that, he references that there was sightings like this back in World War II, which we covered, which was the Foo Fighters.
Right. Right, and that was the common term for aliens between the military, of course. But then basically civilians just called them aliens. I saw an alien.
Or just I saw something weird in the sky or something.
They usually didn't say a UFO.
Yeah. Even still, it seems a little different because Foo Fighters seem to be more of a I don't know, like an energy based thing.
Something that's not of this
Physical.
world. Yeah, where this seems like it might be very physical. Like it seemed like he was actually seeing an object, not like an orb or like a light.
Right.
So that's cool. It's interesting.
That's
This is before Roswell, right?
yes.
It was only a couple years later where Roswell happened, and that's when the UFO thing really exploded.
That's where aliens and the UFO kind of got linked together really big.
Because everybody started thinking that Area 51, which was around Roswell, like just scooped up everything and took the aliens in the spaceship.
Yep.
Where before, like in World War II with Foo Fighters and stuff like that, it was like, you built this thing. No, you built this thing. Well, one of us had to have done it.
It was the Nazis.
And then meanwhile in Germany, it's the Americans.
That is the basics of the story.
Sweden, way over there. It's like, we did it. Nobody cares about you.
So, yeah, I think one of the other things that's important to note with that story, too, is reason why this is a important thing is the fact of my tired brain's being bad with names.
Yeah, well, I'm also very tired.
Arnold?
Kenneth Arnold?
Kenneth was the fact of he was known to be a very reliable man. He did not divulge.
I don't know. He was a salesperson.
Even the...
But that's the thing. People liked him as a salesperson.
I was joking. It's
even the
it's
military...
the stereotype.
Even the military that interviewed him said, yeah, this dude's most likely telling the truth.
Yeah. Like everything about it, his reputation, he was known to be a very honest man. And just things like this, he wasn't known to make up tall tales.
Yeah, that's the weird thing with a lot of UFO sightings. Like, the old ones, especially the old ones, the original ones, like, the people that saw them were credible people.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just some whack job in his, like, Volkswagen, like, van that's been sitting out in the desert for 10 years looking for a UFO. It's just some random guy or, like,
Going
couple
about his business.
going down the road or, like, flying in an airplane and they see a UFO.
Yeah.
It's like, it's normal people that see it in the beginning.
And then usually just tail weavers latch onto it.
Right, so...
Another thing I really like about this story is there's not too much to it.
Yeah.
Like what I said is the basic of it. It's a little butchered just because I'm a little bit tired and I'm trying to remember most of it off the top of my head. But there's not much else to that story where like a lot of other stories like then this happened and then it flew this way. It did a 360 dive and flew through the water.
It wasn't anything extraordinary. It's just here's these things flying in formation, and that's what they did.
Yeah. Like,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
even at first he said I thought it was geese, but
Yeah.
it was flying the wrong way.
There also were 2 other reports from that, well, one from that area and one from over in Idaho, too, that were consistent with what he described. There was a man who
I think there was 5.
Oh, was there?
Like,
there was 2 that I had read about.
I didn't read like the accounts. I've heard that there was like 5 other collaborative stories.
Okay. Just I know that one was just I think he was a trapper or something like that, or a hunter in the Rainier region that had seen it, and it lined up with Kenneth's story. And then there was a gentleman in Idaho who had reported seeing the same thing. So there's evidence to link together with this, and you know, when Kenneth was doing interviews, he never was trying to make it seem outlandish. He was just you can find it online when you look up like his report. You can find images of it. He just simply did a little sketch, like, well, this is the best that I can tell because I didn't get close.
Right.
And he's got countless written basically things, and they're all consistent. So usually when you make up a story, a lot of times it wavers.
Right, because you forget one little detail that you're lying about, and then you have to fix it or retcon it.
Yep. It is interesting to me, too, with this, that just immediately think, like, when you realize it's aircraft, that it's experimental aircraft. Like, that makes you wonder how much of that stuff they seen during war and stuff.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's probably people that saw experimental aircraft. I mean, there had to have been people that saw experimental aircraft. But one thing I never liked with UFOs is people are always like, the military is like 50 years advanced than us, and they probably got lasers and lightsabers and power armor and like anti-gravity guns and stuff like that. And it's like, no, like on average, the military is 10 years advanced than us. And usually it's all in just communications or in all just software.
Well, and a lot of times, too, it's just stuff that, even though it might be really advanced, it's usually just in an experimental phase and gets thrown in a garage.
Yeah, and usually with the military will actually find a independent person, an independent inventor or contractor that invented something, and then they'll be the first one to get the contract for it. And that's where they get new technology.
Right.
Rarely does the military itself develop anything beyond just upgrades to stuff.
Right. And that's back then, especially, all they did was just commission people to, hey, we need a new plane that can do this, or things like that. Pretty much most weapons during the war were invented by people that were just, they invented things.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. There is one other story that came out of I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Kenneth
Arnold. I was looking at the other dude's name for this story. But Kenneth Arnold was also contacted by a man named Raymond A. Palmer, which was an editor for Fringe Science Fiction magazine.
Which was a popular sci-fi magazine back in the day.
Yep, Amazing Stories.
Yep.
Amazing Stories. I have heard of that in many things.
He was asked to investigate a story of 2 harbormen in Tacombe who reportedly possessed fragments of a flying saucer.
Did anything come of it?
Yeah, a military plane crashed.
Oh, so you're thinking that the fragments were from the military?
No,
plane.
this was after that.
Oh, okay.
So after the story, a military plane crashed related to the story. I'll just read it out. So he was sent $200 to fund the investigation.
Wow.
Kenneth Arnold was. So on July 29th, Arnold interviewed a harborman who claimed that one of the objects began spewing forth what seemed like thousands of newspapers from somewhere on the inside of its center. So they said they have some alien technology or flying saucer stuff.
Okay.
These newspapers, which turned out to be a white type of very light metal, fluttered to Earth. The harborman claimed that the craft emitted a substance resembling lava rocks that fell onto his boat, breaking the worker's arm and killed a dog. Poor dog.
Dang.
The harborman also claimed he was later approached by a man in a dark suit and told not to talk about the incident. I think that might be one of the first Men in Black.
Honestly, to me, what that sounds like, not so much as a UFO, but that sounds to me like one of the experiments with the nuclear planes.
Oh.
Because
Could be,
when
yeah.
there's a breach on stuff like that, reactors tend to make slag or lava-like material.
That's true.
And they need an alloy core
Yeah.
to be wrapped around.
Then,
Or like a
I was
lead
just thinking
base.
it was an intergalactic printer that went haywire.
later, Arnold interviewed Fred Chrisman, an associate of the harbormen, who reported having revealed debris from Mary Island and having witnessed an unusual craft. Chrisman showed white metal debris to Arnold, who interpreted it as mundane and inconsistent with the harborman's description. So this dude just basically like, I knew that person. Here's some white metal.
So did suddenly, just because Kenneth was on a business trip, flying, minding his own business, seeing this stuff, told the military about it in the newspapers, now suddenly
He was the expert
he's
on the
just
situation.
become the expert.
Yeah. That's
I mean, I've watched enough adventure movies. That's basically what happens, right?
that is
I
actually
guess.
kind of what happened to him. He got thrust into
The world of UFOs.
like, this man is the person to talk to about UFOs.
I feel like he would just get annoyed at somebody like, I don't know, I just passed them in the turn lane.
Arnold later contacted the Air Force, and 2 officers soon arrived to investigate the situation. The officers conducted interviews, collected the fragments, and took off in their plane to return to base. In the early hours of August 1st, the 2 officers died when the B-25 bomber they were piloting crashed outside of, I'm going to butcher this name, Kelos, Washington. Kelso, on their way back to California.
Dang.
So, 2 officers just casually took a B-52 bomber to Washington.
B-25 bomber.
A B-25 bomber to Washington, talked to a dude, and then just casually got in the bomber again to fly back.
Yeah, they were
'cause-
in the bomber. They took interviews, and they brought the so-called flying saucer material
Didn't
back,
they have something other than a bomber to drive around?
and
Well-
then it crashed.
The thing is, though, is with those old bombers, they were probably the more efficient of aircraft because you could go back to the capital in one go. You didn't have to stop to
Yeah, I guess
fuel.
that makes sense. Yeah.
This whole
Well, I mean, unless it crashes.
Right.
this whole story was happening on Murray Island. Later in 1956, an Air Force officer, Edward J. Ruppelt, would conclude the whole Murray Island mystery a hoax. The first, possibly the second best, and the dirtiest hoax in the UFO history, Ruppelt observed.
Huh.
So then the whole story of that then was fake, or the
Government said the story was a hoax.
Oh, okay.
They actually considered prosecuting the men. At the last minute, it was decided after talking to the 2 men that the hoax was a harmless joke that had mushroomed, and that the loss of 2 lives in a B-25 could not be directly blamed on the 2 men. So the military was all about to arrest these 2 people for losing 2 airmen in a B-52 bomber because of their supposedly hoax.
B-52 or B-25?
B-25.
You keep on saying B-52.
Keep meaning to say B-25, but I'm so used to B-52 bomber.
It's an American thing.
What? You said what?
It's a B-25 bomber.
Okay.
Okay, so then the materials supposedly that they gave the military were a hoax.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, honestly, with what we have given out to the public nowadays, that could be a possible or possible not, because
Yeah.
the fact of it is now, the military, for I think most people know this now, I don't know, released, documents and stuff, and some of like the actual footage caught by like Air Force and stuff of unidentified objects
going at ungodly speeds.
Yeah, and actually with one of the videos that actually does kind of line up with Kenneth's description.
Yeah,
too.
even kind of the shape, because in the video it's kind of disc shaped.
Yeah.
Saucer
Or
shaped.
just like that odd, I don't know, the one in the video, to me anyways, it looked like it was at one angle and then just kind of flipped itself.
Yeah, to me in that one video it always looked like the Star Wars droid deployment ship, where it's a circle with the droid head at the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
In that military video, whenever I see it, I'm like, hey, it's a Star Wars ship.
But, it is, now we know that there is something, whether it be made by another country or from outside the planet or, interdimensional or whatever, there is at least something that no one's really quite sure of.
The government and the military basically just confirmed that, yes, there are UFOs.
Yeah. Which kind of muddles up the whole thing now of all the years of, the government says that was fake.
Well, even like doing research with like the Kenneth Arnold story, it's like a lot of people brought up that the Air Force kind of took the stance of trying to debunk the stories instead of actually investigating them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something weird, because back in the 40s and stuff, when UFOs started becoming a thing, it created its own series of problems.
Yeah.
You had people that were just trying to tell their stories of weird things they seen. You
Genuine
had people that were making hoaxes, which was a giant waste of taxpayer money to be going back and forth investigating. And in some places you were causing some panic. Like, there were some people that thought it's the end of the world, the apocalypse is upon us.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was also around the same time as Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, right?
I believe War of the Worlds came a little bit after, because they were kind of cashing in on that nostalgia
Oh, that
of
helps.
it. So they didn't really help in that fact either.
I think the funniest thing out of this whole story and kind of Kenneth Arnold's whole kind of career with the UFOs is what reportedly he became to believe what the UFOs were.
Okay.
Can you guys guess what he thought they were?
No.
Flying jellyfish.
Huh.
That was, that's actually kind of interesting. Not to go off the beaten trail with this, but
I could see it.
That
I
was
mean, wiggling around in air.
On the wiki, he said he believed he had seen several additional sightings, one of which involved a transparent saucer he linked to a jellyfish.
okay.
So later in life, he kind of thought of them less as like aliens and more like
A natural thing.
a natural thing.
Yeah, there used to be, and I don't know how serious it was taken. I do remember there used to be a Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story called The Sky Jungle. But there were just these loose ideas that there were entire ecosystems in the sky. And like in that story, there's just all these things that are like jellyfish.
Right.
Like creatures. It's like basically ocean animals that were adapted for air.
Yep.
And it was kind of just a loose thought theory that there could be pockets of habitat because planes would disappear in certain areas and stuff, and it wasn't explainable.
Yeah, makes
If
sense.
no one comes back from an area.
Right. Especially an area that constantly has some type of clouds or cloud cover.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, he said he never believed that they were mechanical in any way at all.
Well, he said it was like a fish flapping.
Yeah, he said it was some kind of living organism, the UFOs.
Cool. Well, that's an interesting story.
Yep.
That's
And
cool. That's fun.
That definitely puts an interesting take on the idea of UFOs. Again, like the Foo Fighters, instead of it just being a vehicle, of it maybe being something living or an entity of some
Right.
kind.
Or like
Yeah.
some people thought like the will of the wisp.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that about it for it?
That is all that I'm willing to go into for right now.
Okay.
Because he goes through a lot. He becomes a politician.
Wow.
Yeah, he does a lot.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Look him up. He's an interesting man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish I honestly would have had more time. I want to go back and investigate him a little bit more
Yeah.
than I got to, but he is an interesting person.
He also wrote a couple books, which I wasn't able to get a hold of or read in time.
So yeah, if you want to look him up, his name is Kenneth Arnold, and some of his books might be...
I did see The Flying Saucer that day, I believe is one of the names.
Oh, yep. Here's his books. The Real Flying Saucers, Other Worlds, published in January 1952, and The Coming of the Saucers, published in 1952 as well, with Raymond A. Palmer.
Well, he was born in the 50s.
Well, back then you could say, hey, I'm going to write a book, and people would
actually
leave you
do it,
alone.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, I'm going to write a book.
Oh, what is
to
it
watch
about?
TikTok for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that brings us up to our break time. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little bit of UFO history. And we will be right back after our break. And we'll talk about some other fun stuff.
I'm going to go sleep in my box.
All right. See you guys.
Have fun.
Hello. We're back.
Yes, 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 yes.
Eh.
I meant to say yes, we are, but it just came out
Yes,
yes,
we are
yes.
back from our long break. And
We were talking to Google for about a half hour.
yeah, Google, I've learned, knows nothing.
I took a nap.
It doesn't even know the meaning of life.
I mean, it is a machine.
Yeah, it did answer 42, though.
True. All right. So we got done with Kenneth Arnold. Now we are riding that Segway while it's on fire towards the wall of spikes into our general discussion.
So yeah. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. How was your week? How did I take control of the Segway? I'm aiming for the oil pit.
What? I don't know. It was a good week. It was a good week.
Do anything fun?
No.
Work on any interesting projects?
No.
How was Bakatuk? Because I didn't get to listen to that.
Oh, apparently it's horrible.
Isn't it not out yet?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, that's
Hint,
horrible.
hint, nudge, nudge, tell the audience.
We talked about the dark web.
Ooh.
The dark web or the deep web?
The dark web.
Oh.
The deep web's just a bunch of nonsensical backwards jargon from backup sites.
And other things.
Yeah.
The deep web is just considered anything that's basically not just on the Google browser.
So, Bing?
Yes. Like the
DuckDuckGo?
Actually, yeah, DuckDuckGo is often used to get on like the deep and dark web, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I've just periodically just looked.
DuckDuckGo is not used to get on the dark web.
Then what is?
Onion browser.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you could find using DuckDuckGo because honestly, like just trying to buy things, I've had to shut it off because normal links I could not find.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird.
So it's great in the fact of like keeping you hidden, but at the same time, it's a pain in the butt.
I use good Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Because my security means nothing in 2022.
I went back to Google Chrome too.
Well, when you have a Google Home Mini in your room, it kind of doesn't matter.
We've seen the laser sight on you.
It's okay. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
So, any interesting shows or movies or anything that you've watched? Any video games you played? I know you and Pyrolis and I can't think of his name right now. Mini Pyrolis have been playing on a Minecraft server together.
Thy moderator.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the Thaddeus one.
Thy
I just knew him as the floor man last night from the game we were playing.
That's how, I found that out. I think it was Wednesday when me and him were playing. He's like, somehow he said his username, and I'm like, that's how it's said.
That's great.
Thaddeus.
Yeah, we've been playing Minecraft. It's been fun.
You haven't been on much, have you?
No, I've been busy with work.
I've been playing a lot on it.
Yeah, work's been something. It's been chaotic.
Yeah.
Even though we have nothing to do.
Yeah. Well, and also like I don't know, I've just been really busy lately. I've been sick. That wasn't fun. Yeah. I had some type of weird cold.
Yeah. Just for the record, folks, it's just every year, even before all the craziness that's been going on, we get this weird little cold that lasts for a couple days that goes around.
Yeah. I had that last weekend.
I think it's just a north thing.
I think it's like the combination of the lack of sun, the cold weather, and being right after the holidays. Well, and I think it's just like a form of exhaustion.
And also being indoors around people a lot.
Yeah.
It
I just
also
realized
happens
my
at
mic is
like
very far away from me.
It also happens at the extreme bitter cold, I've noticed, is usually when people get it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, for me, usually it's like, oh, bitter cold's here. Your joints don't work and your nose randomly bleeds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my nose. Oh, dang.
I had that the other day where it just felt like somebody punched me in the face all of a sudden.
My sister in the middle of martial arts Thursday had a bloody nose.
Oof.
And she didn't even get punched.
Ew.
She was just standing there.
So
That happens.
now steering the segue at Jordan.
Hey, I just did the last half hour.
No. You're not taking control of the segue. I'm just aiming it at you and accelerating it. So what you've been up to?
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Not much else,
I know
no.
you're the big Magic the Gathering player. And
I haven't played Magic other than Arena the past 2 days, which is really nothing to speak of in a month and a half now.
Oof.
See, my problem is I can tell you everything I did while I was sick.
But
I watched like 4 different anime series.
Okay,
Dang,
what
that's
ones were they?
I watched Dorohedoro, Moho Shoujo Sight, which is a magical girl anime. Which, speaking that on this podcast, is probably gonna get me burned at a stake.
Nah. Okay. Just for anyone that isn't familiar with anime, it's really no different than when you get on like Netflix and watch like a French show or a German show or something. It's just a different medium.
Yeah, but magical girl is a different medium in anime. It's a dark show. It's like Madoka Magica.
Okay.
Which
was like a psychological horror show.
It's a psychological
wasn't it?
horror show, yeah. It takes the happy-go-lucky genre of...
Me kicking the table.
takes the happy-go-lucky genre of, like, superpowers and, like, friendship stuff and turns it dark. It's a weird show.
So it takes Marvel and turns it into DC.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then I watched Akame ga Kill, and then I started watching Attack on Titan, and then I started watching Demon Slayer.
You just keep getting more generic as you go down the list.
And then...
He's not to the generic.
I've
of the
actually
generic
been
yet.
meaning to watch Demon Slayer because I did not realize they got past a certain arc and are actually putting new episodes out.
Oh,
now.
are there new episodes?
Yeah, they're on, like, episode 8.
Oh, I didn't know they got past the Mugen Train arc.
Yeah, they just never stopped. I was expecting them to stop after they got past
and
the train
announce
arc.
it.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to release the movie in episode form and then take a break.
That's what I thought too, but no, they just kept on going. Oh, and then I rewatched the Infinity War dual movies.
Dual feature?
The movie Infinity War and then Endgame. I rewatched those because I wanted to see how they held up after a couple years.
And
Oh my gosh, it has been a couple of years.
I'm asking as somebody who honestly is not a Marvel movie fan. Did they?
Nah, they're pretty mediocre.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean it's weird because there's like a lot of build up to it. But for the movies themselves, they're just meh.
Yeah. I noticed that with the Marvel movies, like they made the whole, I guess, grand arc towards those in the early movies where it was just kind of,
Yeah.
sorry, where it was just it was foreshadowing, but it didn't dominate everything, and then it became the main focus. And to me, that's where Marvel movies stopped being fun.
I kind of wish they would have stopped about at the Black Panther
movie
and went into the Infinity War series.
It's just like focus on it after that.
Because wasn't it Civil War and then Black Panther?
No, Black Panther came out after Civil War.
Yeah, so
I
it was
believe
Civil War,
Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, then Infinity War, and then Endgame.
Civil War, Black Panther, and Ant-Man
and
1.
the Wasp.
No, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, sorry, no, it was Civil War, Ant-Man, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Then I think there was another
sound in the background.
I know there's Captain Marvel in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel.
But honestly, I don't think Captain Marvel needed to be in there at all.
No.
No. It
didn't
explained one of the stones. It explained the background of one of the villains.
in one of the main.
I'm guessing
Super
it would have been
characters.
a good movie for after everything was done, kind of like they're doing now, where they're just kind of freestanding movies.
Well, here's the thing. After Endgame... So, no, after Infinity War, there was Captain Marvel, and then there's Endgame.
Oh, okay. So
Because everybody disappeared in Infinity War, right?
Mm-hmm.
Half the world died, half the universe died. And then at the end, you see...
Samuel L. Jackson.
I forget his name.
Fury.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury hit the button to summon Captain Marvel. And then it goes into the movie. And then it's Endgame. And I don't know. Just it seems like Captain Marvel didn't need to be there. I don't think they needed Ant-Man and the Wasp 2.
That explained Ant-Man and the Wasp was just for the end scene.
Yeah.
It was to explain the Wasp coming in.
Well, that's
to
what
the
I'm saying. I
limelight.
just feel like they added characters in that were like not necessary. Like they did not need.
They were characters that could have had their own story after all of this stuff was done, right?
What they did, in my opinion, is they went too fast and they chose the wrong story arc for their big movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have did Infinity War
I don't think they should have either.
because that's.
I think they should have done like Civil War or something.
Yeah, if they would have built up
Yeah.
to Civil War
'Cause
instead
that-
of having Civil War 1 movie, it might have been a lot.
That would have
better,
allowed it to kind of flourish with more characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then also instead of doing one movie, part 1, then part 2, kind of back to back, they should have did part 1, then did a bunch of the story characters while Civil War is happening, and then a few years later did part 2 to kind of wrap things back up.
Yeah, kind of let you see what
Like
I
how
guess
the characters act during the Civil War.
I guess they kind of did that. I don't know. See, I kind of dropped Marvel movies after the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So way back. But the little bit I know of it, they just kind of filled it in with some of the TV shows and stuff.
Even some of the TV shows that I watched didn't really have good filler for the actual Phase 4
No,
thing. They were all very standalone.
I'm not even actually sure where we're at now for Marvel movies that are coming out.
For Marvel movies, I have no idea other than the newest Spider-Man came out.
I do want to watch that just because it's.
I've only seen the first one of Spider-Man.
Oh, No Way. No, not No Way Home.
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Nope,
That
haven't
was
even
all-
seen
that
Far
was-
From Home's good.
I think that was one of the last Marvel movies that I watched.
Wow.
Was Spider-Man Homecoming?
I am all caught up on the Marvel movies besides for I need to watch Eternals and the No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home.
I'm finding that I'm liking the DC universe for characters a lot more than Marvel.
I do too. It's a lot better of a story, I think.
Yeah, I
a lot
like.
more solid.
I also like
Well,
their
they can
characters.
just be more like realistic with the comic book characters. Like there's actually like characters that have like moral conflicts and actually might murder somebody.
like Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, they just seem to be more realistic to like what the comic books actually were instead of how Marvel is.
Here's your cut and dry character.
Yeah, here's your quippy one-liner characters, and that's about it.
Well,
Like-
I think part of that is because of the fact of Marvel is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
And Disney is catered, I mean, quote unquote, because I know they have a lot that isn't, but it's catered more towards family audiences, or at least younger
Yeah.
generations, where DC is just kind of, I don't care, it's
DC
a good
is
story,
brutal.
let's go.
DC is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, just watching like some of their animated movies, they are good but brutal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like their live-action movies really aren't that good.
No.
Like, they're good ones.
I actually haven't seen the live action movies
Yeah,
too
you
much.
have.
No.
Yeah, you've seen Batman versus Superman, right?
Nope. The only live action movie that I've seen in this whole story was Man of Steel.
Really?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, never watched Aquaman. Didn't watch. Did they come out with a Flash movie, or is that
They're
coming out?
coming out with a Flash movie.
Oh, Shazam.
Oh, Shazam, yeah.
That was a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know too much of Shazam's character.
I do want to watch, I just don't want to dedicate the time of the redo that they did of Justice League.
Which one?
Of the last movie that they did of it.
Oh, you mean the Snyder Cut?
Yeah.
Oh, where it's like 4 hours long or something?
Yeah, but
think
it
it's
was
like
actually
3
how
hours?
it was supposed to be
Yeah.
done.
There's actually a great theory with that, which minor spoilers, just because I'm going to talk about like a little bit of the ending of them, even though I haven't watched them. I've just seen the theory for it. Is the Snyder Cut and the original, they're actually two different timelines.
Okay.
Because in the original, Flash has a vision of the future. Mm-hmm. And that's the future that's a Snyder Cut is.
And that's with Darkseid, right?
No, the
As
original...
as the main villain. Well, in the Snyder Cut, it's Darkseid. It's the villain, right?
No, it's
No.
what is his name?
What does he do?
He's got an axe.
Oh,
He's the son of
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Oh, Steppenwolf. Oh, they're doing... Okay.
I thought that was the first one that they released in the Snyder Cut. They replaced it with They
Yeah,
replaced
Snyder
him
Cut
with-
has Darkseid, but the first one has Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the Snyder Cut, I think there's a scene where they kick Steppenwolf through the boom tube portal, and then Darkseid's on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, with like the theory is with Flash, he actually changes to the Snyder Cut.
Oh, like
the
he
Snyder Cut
changes
is the
timelines.
Yeah, as the definitive story arc. But the other one isn't just thrown out; it's just a different timeline or events that could have happened.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
That actually would be a really cool thing, but I think the Snyder Cut actually killed doing Justice League movies for DC, didn't it?
I'm not sure how the Snyder Cut went over.
I don't know.
I know a lot of people are interested and
Yeah.
hyped for it.
It's out.
I know it's out.
I just never watched it because I don't know, the live action DC was never too interesting.
It
to
would
me.
have been the only one I ever watched besides like all the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah.
Those ones I liked.
I want to
liked
watch the
those.
new Batman.
Yeah, that I want to watch too.
That one does look
looks
interesting.
Really good.
I did enjoy the Joker movie. That was fun.
Haven't
I
watched that
haven't
one
seen
yet.
that one.
It
Now,
was- it was okay.
is that Joker a different Joker, or is that supposed to be like an origin story?
It's a different Joker.
Okay, because I know there's different Jokers like in the comic
Yeah,
books.
it's a different Joker. It's not the Red Hood Joker that we all know. It's just a different type of Joker. It's a different story, but it kind of leads into the same place.
Okay, does it have Batman in it at all, or is it?
It
Just...
has Bruce Wayne as a child.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
And it shows his family getting murdered.
So is this the Joker that murdered his parents?
No.
No. Okay.
This Joker instigated a riot that ended up getting his family murdered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to.
Is that going to be linked to the new Batman movie then?
I don't know. It might be.
I thought it was a standalone.
The Joker movie is a standalone as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's one thing cool to me too is like, I don't know. I find it kind of a turnoff to try to watch things like, say, like the Marvel movies because you have to watch this to know who this is, to know who this is. Where DC's like, you know what, we're going to do like our comic books and just have a one-shot thing.
Yeah. Okay, so the Snyder Cut of Justice League is regarded as good and better than the other one.
My only question is if, this is a giant if, they continue to do Justice League movies, they just did their major villain that usually is always the endpoint villain for stuff.
He isn't
No?
the endpoint villain. Honestly, like, I just got done watching the new 52 animated movies. And they actually start out with Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Where Darkseid invades. They fight him back to War World. And then many movies later, he comes back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Darkseid's always been that villain. It's like, oh, you beat me this time. I'll be back.
I'll be back for you.
See, the thing with DC is it's not one villain.
No.
Yeah.
It's not one group of people. It's not like just one solitary thing. Usually when something wrong goes in the DC universe, it is a galaxy-wide or like a universe-wide or a worldwide threat.
Right.
Yeah, when something goes really bad.
So like yeah, you'll get stories where it's like Bane fighting Batman and stuff. But like when the Justice League gets together, usually it means the world is going to die within the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So I wonder if they did it again, or if they do another one, who they'd pick for a villain.
They might just go back to Darkseid.
I'll just continue that on.
Yeah, they might go very far down, like after a lot more movies come back out, they might do the more devastating Darkseid invasion.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be.
be cool to see a live action New 52.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool. Or like a live action Flashpoint Paradox.
Weren't they going to be doing a thing with the TV show for Flash or for the Flash?
So yeah, the CW
Yeah, that's
DC shows.
Right, no, but I mean, I thought they were doing something like a Flashpoint event.
They
or
did do a
something.
Flashpoint event in the CW show.
Okay.
I believe it's where you get Kid Flash. I
Yeah.
believe
I think it's Kid Flash or Girl Flash.
it's Kid
whatever
Flash.
her name is.
It's Kid
Yeah, it is
Flash.
Kid Flash, yeah.
But yeah, that's like the first time he figures out how to time travel in the show.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Like I said, haven't really been keeping track of that stuff. I did start watching the new Star Wars show that came out, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Have not watched it at all.
It's good. It's
Dude, just watch it. Watch it tomorrow in the morning. Like, it only takes like an hour and a half right now to watch it.
Have either... All right, so I know they're going for the crime mafia feel for this show, but the second episode... Have either of you seen a old Western movie called Dances with Wolves?
Yeah.
That the flashback part of that reminded me so much of that movie.
Oh, yeah. When
Where
like,
it's the soldiers
the
left.
soldier guy leaves, comes back, and like all the Native Americans are
taking it. Because like in Dances with Wolves, this guy is just a soldier that... The army's just like, yeah, set him out to this watch post. You know, maybe he won't come back.
Yeah.
And while he's out there, he's watching everything. He's not really interfering with anything.
Yep.
And eventually he befriends the Native Americans that he was set to watch. And they take him in, and then he ends up helping them fight.
Right.
Because they were being terrorized by... Well, in that, they were being terrorized by another clan. But with this show, you know, the train.
Right.
But it just, I don't know, it gave me a lot of vibes of that movie.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I did not think of that. I was thinking more along the lines of just Star Wars, like classic, like the native group helping the warrior, like.
Yeah, kind of, but that's how that movie was in that sense, because he taught them like cavalry techniques and stuff of how to fight. Okay. And then they just kind of paired it together.
Yep, that's cool.
So that was kind of cool. This newest episode, I liked it. I liked that they had a villain from the old comic books.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, the big Wookiee dude.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. I did not like some of, like, I guess the aesthetics of some of the stuff, but
I get the idea what they're trying to do with the aesthetics, but it just kind of felt out of place.
they would have looked good. The bikes.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's watched, it just, to me, felt out of place. They would have felt a little better if they were trying to make them look nice, but they were still shoddy because they're on a backwater planet.
Well, think of it this way. They're all high-tech gearheads.
That is true.
Like, their whole thing was, like, modifying their bodies to be high-tech and, like, half-droid. And so, of course, they're going to be, like, the fancy guys that had the fancy bikes. So.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question for the people that have watched for you two. Do they still have the monk brains in the jar creatures that walk around
Yes.
the thing? Okay. Have they done anything with those things?
No,
yet?
they're just wandering around.
Okay.
It's just basically desert scene, the palace, brain jar, spider thing.
That'd be
like
cool if they actually do something with those things. I forget their actual names.
I know they're a monk. I know Bib Fortuna becomes one eventually.
Well, I know they're actually the inhabitants and owners of the monastery that Jabba the Hutt took up, and now Boba Fett.
he just let them run around basically.
Yeah.
Is the droid that is Boba Fett's I don't know what you call him, secretary? Is that the droid that was being tortured in the old movies?
He was the one torturing.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
Okay. Because he looked familiar and I couldn't remember.
Nope, he was the one torturing other ones, which
Oh.
is like horrible for a droid to have to do.
Yeah. So it was torture for the droid doing
Yes.
the torturing.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
'Cause-
I hope they explore the palace a little bit more. And
Yeah.
Because it seems
That'd
like
be
there'd be a
interesting.
lot of hidden things
Yeah.
there.
I honestly hope they go off world.
Yeah, that would be nice if they eventually do go. They might.
Because I don't know, it seems like I get the whole idea that Jabba the Hutt like ruled Tatooine, but I don't know. I also just want to see Boba Fett do Boba Fett stuff. So
See, I don't know if we're going to get that. Because this is Boba Fett's retirement years.
Not seeing anything of the show, just scrolling through YouTube, I seen a thumbnail for a theory that maybe Boba Fett was either infected by the Sarlacc pit when he had left. Like the Sarlacc pit.
what?
Like, so when Boba Fett left the Sarlacc pit, that he was like infected with something from the Sarlacc pit. So he's not fully himself.
I think it's more he was in his stomach, so he was like really scarred up from it and
Yeah,
stuff.
plus-
Like he's got basically kind of a disability from it.
You also have to remember this is before Mandalorian.
No, this is after. I thought we were bouncing back and forth
Oh yeah, this part is after
because
okay.
he has a Fennec.
Some of
with
it's
him.
before, some of it's after.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because Fennec is with him. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's interesting. It's hard to, I don't know, because like I can recount the whole life story of Boba Fett from the
Comic
expanded
books.
universe.
Yeah.
But like I can't. I
can't-
don't know anything about the like.
What
I'm
they're gonna
enjoying
do.
the story. I just can't say
Predict
anything.
where it goes.
Yeah, because if I predict anything, I'm gonna try predicting the expanded universe, but it's just not gonna happen. So
I think it would be cool if they let this be a Book of Boba Fett be its thing, and then, like you usually do with a good character, that arc is done, and now they're gonna go do something different.
yeah,
Like
that
maybe
would-
Boba Fett finds out he just doesn't want to run a syndicate.
yeah. Well, I know in the original story arc, he escapes the Sarlacc pit, gets some revenge on people, and then starts rebuilding Mandalore itself.
Okay.
Has a daughter, and eventually rejoins the resistance and starts working with Luke Skywalker to fight against the Jensen Vong and the Empire as well.
Oh dang.
Up to the point where the Empire gets so tired of them that they actually release nanites into the atmosphere of Mandalore specifically designed with the gene codex of Boba Fett in his blood, where if he had ever entered the atmosphere again, they'd instantly die.
So they left him on. They had him stuck on the planet.
No, they left him where he couldn't go back to the planet, back to his people to rule them.
Oh, okay.
He was a forced exile from Mandalore.
Okay.
So
it was a thing of like, we'd like to have you back, but we can't.
yeah, because it instantly died. So like,
I think they're taking the rebuilding or ruling Mandalore story arc for Mandalorian himself from the Mandalorian show.
yeah, probably.
So I don't think Boba Fett's going to do that because, like, even when Boba Fett was in the Star Wars The Clone Wars, he didn't have any drive or anything really to do with Mandalorians.
Yeah, I know that, and that's the biggest change that they made from the expanded universe compared to the new canon. So.
Yeah. I don't know. The one thing I would like to see is at least them to explain why, I guess, in a way, he's like looking at these cities and stuff, and I guess a little bit more, I don't want to say compassionate, but a little nicer to them.
Well, because if you think about it, he raised himself in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had like Aura Singh and stuff, which is another bounty hunter that helped him through his early years, but like he was on his own. So like he was broke, he was poor, he was homeless most of his time. Like he had to deal with stuff. So I mean, it'd make you pretty compassionate to just poor farmers on a planet.
He also did just deal with the Mandalorian.
That is true too. Yeah, because he did seem a little bit more brutal. Well,
At the beginning of
Mandalorian, but when you're watching the Book of Boba Fett, he's still not like brutal. I guess
he said "frick you" to a mercenary guy and just blew him up with a wrist rocket.
Yeah, but well,
with half of a wall.
I guess too, it's also, you have to look at too, kind of like what he says in this latest episode to the Wookiee. It's like, no offense, it's just business.
Yeah,
that's what you have to look at. Is there's a difference between when he's not working to when he's working.
Exactly.
So I guess that's definitely something they're doing more of.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Fennec is always looking at him like, what the heck are you doing?
I'm liking Fennec more and more.
I am
She's
too.
a cool
I hated
character.
her in the first episode of Mandalorian,
Yeah.
but now it's like as you're going along, it's like she's actually a really cool character.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well,
I mean, we kind of went back to UFOs. We were talking about Star Wars by the end.
kind of. Yep. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I think that about rounds it up.
I could talk about more about DC stuff, but I won't.
We can save that for another episode.
There's always more.
There's always going to be more episodes.
There's going to be more comic books and movies and stuff. It's a never-ending loop.
I'm just gonna say this. I am now probably
Oh, go ahead.
tomorrow. I'm probably going to watch the DC live-action movies.
And Boba Fett.
I don't know,
Do it.
It's 3 episodes. Watch it.
but there's so many hours of live. Why am I whispering? There's so
This is off the books.
there's so many hours worth of live-action DC movies. I don't know if I could fit it all in one day.
I don't think you could fit all the live-action DC movies into one day.
I'm just talking about the stuff for the new canon.
Oh.
I'm not gonna rewatch all the Batman.
Well, just watch the Boba Fett movie and then get to whatever movie. Not Boba Fett movie. Get to the Boba Fett show and then watch whatever DC movies you want to watch afterwards.
How about no?
Fine, do whatever you want. I do have to explain when we first started the episode. For the people that probably remember, I want to explain why I knew a guy that built an airplane just to go to Canada.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So I was doing this job out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh wait,
in
you
our
actually
state.
knew this person.
I know this guy.
Oh, I thought this was like some dude on YouTube.
No.
But okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, like he actually showed me his airplane and stuff. So
Did you ask to go on a ride?
no, mainly because the way he was going to do it, I didn't want to get arrested.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this guy's out in the middle of nowhere in our state, like just fields all around him and stuff.
It's not hard to do.
I'm
but
working
okay.
on his house, and he comes home, and I knew him from the church I used to go to. So we were talking a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm building an airplane," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, "You want to see?" So he brings me into his garage, mind you, this is this garage. There's no way for the airplane to leave. He's actually going to have to take down a wall.
So it's like NCIS with the dude that builds boats in his basement.
Yes, he has to take down the whole wall just to move the airplane out. But he's building his own airplane piece by piece from scratch. He taught himself how to fly. And his dream is to do two things. Cross the border. So cross from America to Canada. Pretty easy when you're in Michigan. Next thing is to land the boat on a lake.
You mean the
Airplane?
Sorry, yeah. Land the airplane on a lake. Drill a hole in the ice fish for a fish, catch the fish, get in the airplane, and then fly back to America.
What fish?
Just any fish.
Just any fish.
Yes.
So is he building like a pontoon plane or just?
No, just regular plane.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, just a
I
regular...
can't blame him for that.
Yeah,
I
no,
honestly can't.
That is just like the ultimate flex on the world. I flew to Canada, got a fish, and was back by lunch.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
got my dinner.
And then
And I ate it too.
the second goal is he wants to jump out of his own plane and skydive.
Oh, that's cool.
How many
What?
seater is this plane?
It's a 2-seater.
Oh, so he'd probably have a pilot.
He'd have a
with him.
co-pilot. The pilot would fly the plane, and then he'd just jump out. So he'd pilot into the air and then jump out of his plane and skydive.
That would be cool.
Yeah, he's like, that's the two things I've always. Those are the things he always wanted to do on his bucket list. So, and he's a painter guy. So he's just saving up constantly.
That's awesome. You can't fault the guy for wanting to fulfill his dreams.
Yeah,
No, you can't.
but I feel better now. I would have felt bad if I didn't tell that story in the podcast. So.
That's a lot better story than what I thought it was going to be. 'Cause I thought
You thought it was gonna be one of those. Oh, I saw a guy on YouTube do this.
For some reason, I was thinking it was Linus Tech Tips.
No. It's kind of funny. Working construction, you see a lot of interesting people that you don't think about it while you're talking to them. And then you
Totally.
finish the job, and then 3 months later, you're like, dang, I
That
wish
dude
I would
wanted
have
to
talked
build
to
a
him.
plane and go to. Oh,
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Let me show you my Death Ray collection. I just want to get my work done.
Yeah. Pretty
3
much.
months later, dang, that guy had a Death Ray collection.
what the heck?
I once knew a guy that we were working on a lake, and this guy was talking about how his family knew Al Capone. Mm-hmm. And how just across the lake was Al Capone's old getaway mansion. And how that mansion actually had a secret entrance that led to the lake. So there was a boat at the bottom of the mansion that had a secret entrance that led into the lake. So that way when the police came, they could sneak out the secret entrance, take the boat across the lake to escape the police.
That is awesome. And that's actually just a fun little thing. We might have to do this as a topic someday. Our area actually had some pretty close ties to old-time mafia.
When there's a place that I go by when I go to Lake Michigan every time, and it's like, that place just looks like a mafia owner still lives there. Just the architecture and just how it's set up.
Yep. All right, well, I guess that's about it for today, right?
I think so. I crashed the Segway into the wall.
Cool.
It's still
that's
good.
not going to hurt too much.
It's
They only
still-
go 5 miles an hour.
I still have all 10 limbs.
Besides for the creator of the Segway died by taking a Segway off the cliff.
Oh, I had nothing to do with that, so.
Fun fact for you.
He took
At least that's what I hear. That's the internet
Are they
hearing things.
Are they supposed to explode into a mushroom cloud?
No.
Oh, we might want to run.
Oh.
Whoa. What?
Well, anyways, all joking aside, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. This has been Look Behind You, and I have been Jacob. You can find me on Twitter at SirBoom9. You can also find the show itself at Behind You Pod on Twitter.
That's where I'll be.
That's where Jordan will be.
Yep.
You can also email us at behindyoucast@gmail.com.
Has anyone sent us an email?
No,
No.
not yet. Let me double check that's the right email.
Behind.
Mechanical clicks. Mechanical clicks
At least
everywhere.
it's not a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, that's right, email. So yeah, Behind You Cast. I've also been
gmail.com.
joined by, I was gonna say Ramen Cat.
Well,
I've been joined
yes.
by Terry. You can find him at RamenCat13 on Twitter. And yeah, if you'd be so kind, just leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Podchaser, 1,000 other sites. Anywhere you listen, if it has a review thing, just give us a good review, bad review, mediocre review. I don't know, just
Say something.
Slap a fish on
yeah,
it.
slap a fish on it. Don't give us that look. You know what we mean.
No, actually, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Slap a
Anyways.
salmon around.
That will be it for the Look Behind You cast. Guys, say goodbye,
Bye.
Hasta la vista.
and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Good night.